Good evening. Welcome to another Talking Technical show, and we are really flooded with some requests, and I hope I can go through all of them because it's almost 15, 17 shares for tonight. So let's see if we can cover some of them, but I would like to kick off with something I picked up today. Look at PayPal Holdings, and this is a weekly chart, of course, and remember this was one of the top shares in the NASDAQ. And I just want to show some viewers that yes, shares can drop. I know I'm carrying on with this. I know people don't believe that. I spoke to a fund manager this afternoon, and he says to me, he really struggled to find some nice shares in South Africa to buy because some of them had just such phenomenal rallies. Now, this is the typical share of PayPal, one of the stars of the NASDAQ. I mean, there was a classic double top from 320 to 121 in a matter of, let's say, 10 or 12 weeks, and it just shows you that some of our shares, and we'll go through some of them tonight, and you will see that some of them had phenomenal rallies, especially some of the requests. So yes, let's look at it. There's no turnaround candle here, only above 129.42. We can maybe see a little bit of a bounce coming back into the share, but the momentum is clearly to the downside. So yes, be careful just to chase shares, and you believe that they can always go up. Our market made a new high this week, while the S&P 500 is struggling to find its feet. So keep in mind, sometime in future, our market is going to struggle, and maybe the S&P is going to pick up. So just keep that in mind when buying some shares, and just be a little bit, as we will say, just be a little bit careful. Let's have a look at Metair. And Fred is asking about Metair, and let's have a look at the share. I mean, this is also one of those companies that surprised us quite a while. And look at this beautiful rally. I mean, it started here in 2020 at around 12.51, and it's going all the way, and it's now around 28.99. But look at these beautiful lower shadows. Fred, I just want to say that this share had a nice rally, but if I look at these shadows on a weekly chart, it maybe tells me that it can maybe go even higher. So yes, you want to know if you can buy it, but I want to show you something here that I'm picking up here. There's the nice ascending channel. And of course, as we know, an ascending channel is a bullish formation, but unfortunately, eventually it turns into a negative formation that triggers some selling. And there you are. There you can see it. And now I can also understand what is happening here. The share is being supported, and the buyers don't want to let the share go below the support line, because if it drops below the support line, it can maybe go all the way back to this 21 Rand level that we see there. So yes, Fred, you can buy it if you want to chase momentum. That is above 29.74. Chase the momentum to the top. It can maybe go all the way back to this previous high of 32.43. Maybe make use of a stop loss of 26.23 to protect your capital. But a nice share, nice momentum, and every time that there's a little bit of a pullback, you can see that people are coming in to buy. And we heard last year that a lot of analysts believe local South African companies are offering some good value. Now, well, this is what we see here. I think some analysts believe in that, and they buy every time the share pulls back a little bit. Let's have a look at Standard Bank. I mean, this is also one of the stars in the banking sector. It's doing well, and I mean, this chart is showing. I just want to maybe just check that for a moment. I just want to change that to a 40-week because we are looking at the weekly chart here. There you are. Oh yes, I showed it on the show previously. This beautiful ascending triangle, and it reached now its target, and that is maybe why the request is now, do I lock in profits, or must I carry on, or can I even buy? Now the same story here applies, and this is of course a weekly chart. Let's just have a look here. And there you can see all the upper shadows that is at the resistance line. And let's have a look here. There you can see it is in actual fact building on a rising wedge. Now a rising wedge, you know, over time will also trigger a sell-off. But I mean, there's the resistance line. And who asked about this? Sorry, Frick. Frick above 157.89. The share can easily go even higher because it can go all the way back that magical 180 level if it carries on. Only thing that worries me, look at these shadows there already on a weekly chart starting to show even there, and then it triggers some sell-off. At the moment, it's on the brink of either breaking up. So my first sign of weakness, if you did buy it on this show when we showed it during October last year, if it drops below 152.32 on a Friday close, I will get nervous, because then we can maybe see a tiny little tweezer top, and maybe just show the viewers that's maybe new to the program what is a tweezer top. Now there's a tweezer top. You see that there's a little shadow to the top, there's another shadow to the top, and if that goes above that level, I mean, I'm going to give you the level. If it goes above 157.89, this tweezer top will be wiped off the table. In actual fact, it is a little bit of a warning. And where will we see now some serious selling taking place? Maybe let's just show you here. And that is below this candle. I believe if it can get below this candle, I think we must think twice of holding the share, and that is below 147. Well, let's have a look at master drilling. Master drilling is typical of that South African companies. The moment it pulls back a little bit, it goes off again. I mean, look at April last year. It was around 5 Rand, 6 Rand a share. Now it's already 12 Rand 40. And I must be honest, I was worried about this head and shoulder. I just first want to show you. There's the head and shoulder. There you are. Classic left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. But what did we see? And this is an important lesson. The important lesson is, look where the neckline was. The neckline was exactly at the 40-week moving average at that 10 Rand 47 level. And what happened? It bounced off that level with some nice, beautiful, strong candles, and it wiped it out, this left shoulder. That left shoulder's high was 12 Rand on the dot. And the moment it moved above that 12 Rand, it actually sorted that out, and it took it a little bit higher. So yes, I think this right shoulder is probably not going to develop. I hope not. But this one definitely is off the chart. So for me, the momentum is to the upside. If we can get above 12 Rand 50 cents, we can actually see levels of 12.81 and even that high of a few weeks back at 13 Rand 64. Nice chart this. Look what happens. Every time that it gets to this 40-week moving average, you see it finds support. There that the curve of the 40-week moving average started to curve upwards. And since then, every time that it almost reached that level, it bounced off that. And these shares are telling us that some companies locally are doing okay. I know Master Drilling is doing a lot of overseas work, and most of their stuff is also earned in dollars. It just shows you that there is definitely an opportunity. And of course, what do we see here? A nice chart. So let's go over to the next one, Sfrimat. What can we say? Another nice chart. I mean, it starts here at the bottom. You can see here, it started in April last year at 21.79, and off it goes to the horses all the way up. And what did we see? There was almost a shooting star the other week. There you are. You can see nice upper shadow. There was some selling there. But what happened? It never got followed up by a bearish engulfing candle. And that's important to me. When you see a shooting star, you need to see a follow-up on a bearish engulfing candle. Then you know that there is some sellers around. But what do we see here? And this is the important thing here. Look at that high. There's the high. I mean, above this level, there you are, above 61.53, this share is making new highs. And what happened when we see new highs? It can actually go higher. So yes, if you are a momentum player, and Solly asked about it, Solly, if you want to chase the momentum above it, I'm going to use this same little shooting star that I thought that's going to be a shooting star as my stop loss, because that hand is still on the cards. I don't like that. I will use a stop loss of 57.50. But I mean, don't be surprised if this company goes to 70 Rand. And what I like about this chart, look what happened to this 40-week moving average. It turned into a support. It will remain a support. It dipped just a few weeks below this 40-week moving average, and then it rallied up from there. That is a proper good solid chart. And what's nice, another South African company. Our next request is Trellidor. Now, Trellidor is also a South African company. I know they're also doing a lot of business overseas, but this chart looks a little bit different. And Fikile asked about it. Fikile, I'm a little bit nervous about this, and I'm going to show you why. There's the support line that I'm watching. But look at all these long upper shadows. Oh, this is a classic chart. Every time that this chart gets to this 3.50 Rand level, you can see that there's some sellers. Look at these upper shadows. That tells you that when the shares get to this level, people are a little bit nervous. And for me now, that's quite important. This 40-week moving average needs to stay a 40-week moving average. Otherwise, if we can dip below this support line, and there's your level, if it drops below 3.01 Rand, you can easily move back to this previous support. I just want to show you where I get this level from. These little two lower shadows immediately gives me a little hint. And if it gets to this level, we'll maybe see that the correction is over, and that is 2.40 Rand. So Fikile, nice chart, but I think it rallied a lot. I mean, from 125 to 350 in a matter of a few months. That's good running. So maybe it needs a little bit of a breather. This worries me, the 40-week, and I mean your big level there is 3.01 Rand. I think it's too late to buy it. In actual fact, it's maybe time to think of locking in a profit. And remember, I've never met anyone that goes bankrupt by locking in a profit. So unfortunately, this chart is not a buy for me. It's maybe a little sell on the cards. Well, thank you for watching the show once again. Please visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com, and we will be